Oh man. Kamala Harris is back at it again. She once again yells at pro-Palestine protesters, people who are trying to bring light to a literal genocide that is being live streamed for the world to see. And our elected leaders are doing next to nothing about it. And not just that, but they're actually helping commit the genocide, voting to send bombs, money, other resources to Israel for them to continue the genocide. It's disgusting. This was happening under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's administration. It has continued and has gotten much worse under the Trump administration. Here's a few clips from the interaction where Kamala Harris is yelling at these pro-Palestine protesters, and she does something especially heinous that you have to see. It made my jaw drop. That doesn't happen very often. Let's take a look. This is during one of the stops at her book tour. I made a whole video about the book that she wrote. I'll put the link to that video in the description of this video and at the end screen. But let's watch this.
Please. I actually also write about this, okay? Which is about what I know about how and why you are saying what you are saying now and how I felt about it. You're not letting me talk. You know what? I respect your right to speak.
They're not letting you talk, but you're not saying anything. A big reason why she was so off-putting to undecided voters, moderates, the average person, is because she is the queen of saying a lot of words without saying anything of meaning. But I digress. Here's the important part.
Wait. Let's bring the temperature down. Let's bring the temperature down. Unlike the current president of the United States,
Did she just compare pro-Palestine protesters to Donald Trump? Let's hear that again.
Let's bring the temperature down. Unlike the current president of the United States,
Because of all the cheering, I couldn't quite make out what she said after, unlike the president of the United States. However, there's been so many times since Trump got elected, since his new administration has taken over, where Kamala Harris has came out and said that the president, Donald Trump, has been raising the temperature in American political discourse. He's been raising the temperature. She says this quite often. So the fact that she said it here in this context to those protesters, it leads me to believe that here she is comparing Donald Trump's intentional rising of the temperature to these protesters rising of the temperature. That's disgusting.
what's happening right now in Gaza, what is happening to the Palestinian people is outrageous and it breaks my heart.
Let's pause there. That is insane. It breaks your heart. It's outrageous. Those are your words. Why weren't you saying that when you were the vice president and the genocide was already happening? This genocide started soon after October 7, 2023, and is continuing to this day, even after they announced that there's a ceasefire for the fifth time. I'll talk about that in another video, but there was a ceasefire deal allegedly accepted between Hamas and Israel for the fourth or fifth time, I guess. But Israel is just going to break the ceasefire and then blame it on Hamas, and then the genocide is going to continue. But for her to say that what's happening to the Palestinians breaks her heart, why weren't you saying that as vice president? Why weren't you holding Israel accountable as the vice president of the United States? Why? By you saying it's unacceptable and that it breaks your heart, that means that you have to do something about it. If you hold power, if you are in elected office, you must do something. If it's unacceptable to you, if it breaks your heart. But the fact that you did nothing about it, and in fact, you cheerleaded the continued funding of that genocide, it leads me to believe that either one, you believed at the time it was politically disadvantageous to push back against Israel. It also happens to be true that she's taken several $1 million from AIPAC. So not only did she think that it was political suicide to go against Israel, but she wasn't allowed to. One of her largest donors, AIPAC, and I'm sure other Israeli lobby groups as well, had her in their back pockets. It's disgusting to hear this now. All of a sudden, it's breaking her heart now, but there's more, unfortunately. Here's a different angle of the next part of the video, but this is the important part. Try to watch this next part without your blood boiling. I'll unpack it afterward. Let's watch. Kamala Harris's stands, who, let's be clear, the people who are going to watch Kamala at her book tour are card-carrying blue MAGA. That's what they are. They are people who are ride or die Democratic candidates, ride or die Kamala, and that's just as dangerous as red MAGA. I'll just leave it at that. But did you hear what they were saying? They were saying, leave, leave, you're not welcome here. Excuse me? They're yelling at these pro-Palestine protesters, saying, you're not welcome here? What? Here's the crazy part, though.
I'm not president right now. There's nothing I can do.
I'm not president right now. There's nothing I can do about it. You can't do anything about the genocide because you're not president right now. But you were vice president when the genocide started.
I'm not president right now. There's nothing I can do.
Does she know how stupid she sounds? How out of touch? Does she think that we are this stupid? We as in the left. We as in the broader Democratic coalition of liberals, moderates, centrists, leftists. She said there's nothing. First of all, there is something that she can do about it. To say that she can't do anything about it right now is a lie. Because even though she's not in office, even though she's not the vice president anymore, she is still the prominent or a top 2 or 3 prominent Democratic figure in the party. She still has some way on how the Democratic Party as a entity responds to the genocide that is happening. She has a say, a small say, but a little bit. So the fact that she is claiming, the powerless victim, oh, I can't do anything about it, that's pathetic. But the more pathetic thing is her saying that she isn't president right now, so she can't do anything about it. As if she would do something about it as president. She was the vice president for 1.5 years of the genocide, and she didn't do a damn thing about it. In fact, she supported it. She takes millions of dollars from AIPAC. AIPAC? It's utterly pathetic to think that her supporters are this stupid. Yeah, we know you're not president. You lost to a orange convicted felon, rapist, who shits his pants, and it's on record. That's who you lost to. You lost to the guy who had one of the worst approval ratings in history, who was twice impeached in his first term, and incited an insurrection on the nation's capital to try to overthrow a free and fair election. The results of it. That's who you lost to. We know. Oh my God, we know. If she had tried to do something about the genocide while she was vice president, but didn't get much accomplished, then she would have the green light to be like, I'm not president right now. I can't do anything. But she didn't. Yeah, that's all I've got. Just wanted to show this, and see y'all at the next video.